Nestled on the slopes of Mount Parnassus, Delphi, Greece was considered the center of the ancient Greek world, a place where people from across the Mediterranean would gather to seek the wisdom and guidance of the oracle. The site is filled with mythology, history, and a sense of spiritual mysticism that has endured for thousands of years. Hello, I'm Lindsey from Have Clothes Will Travel, and in this Ultimate Delphi Greece guide, I'll be sharing everything you need to know about visiting, from the best time to visit, to how to get here, tips for visiting, what there is to see, and more. A quick history of Delphi. Delphi was an ancient religious sanctuary dedicated to the Greek god Apollo. Developed in the 8th century BC, the sanctuary was home to the Oracle of Delphi and the priestess Pythia, who was famous throughout the ancient world for seeing the future and was consulted before all major undertakings. Now, where is Delphi and how do you get here? Delphi is about 100 miles or 160 kilometers northwest of Athens. Getting to Delphi from Athens is pretty straightforward. The most convenient way is to rent a car and drive the 2.5-hour route on the E75 highway. Then you can explore Delphi at a leisurely pace. Just be aware that there is no designated parking area at Delphi. You'll have to park alongside the road and walk. And you cannot park by the museum entrance. If you're driving yourself, you can also make a pit stop along the way in Thermopylae and see the Battle of Thermopylae Museum and gravesite. This is where the battle of the 300 Spartans against the Persian army happened, and where the 300 Spartan soldiers are said to be buried. Another option is to take a bus from Athens Central Bus Station. The bus ride takes about 2.5 hours to 3 hours and is a much more budget-friendly option. But of course, this doesn't offer the same flexibility. There are also plenty of organized tours that leave from Athens and include transportation, entrance fees, and a local guide. This is by far the easiest way to get to Delphi from Athens. Lastly, you can hire a private driver to take you from Athens to Delphi. This is personally what I did, and I loved it. It is, however, the most expensive way to go about this, but it sure was nice to have the freedom of a car without the hassle of driving or trying to find a parking spot along the road. Sakis was the name of my driver through Private Greece Tours, and he was amazing. Side note, many of these tours also offer the option to combine Delphi with Meteora for a multi-day trip. I visited both of these sites and highly recommend also visiting Meteora if your schedule allows. However, if you only have time for a day tour, Delphi is a much easier place to visit as a day trip than Meteora. If you're combining Delphi and Meteora, it's better to plan at least 2 days for this. Now, a quick overview of what you can expect to see when you visit Delphi. The main archaeological site is divided into several key areas, each offering a unique glimpse into the past. The sanctuary of Athena Pronea, which means the one before the Temple of Apollo, which was the first one visited by visitors who came to Delphi on foot from the Eastern Road, hence its name. Number 2, the Sacred Way. This was the main route used by pilgrims and visitors to access the sanctuary of Delphi. As you walk along the Sacred Way, you'll encounter numerous monuments, treasuries, and statues that were dedicated to the gods. Number 3, the Temple of Apollo. At the heart of Delphi stands the impressive ruins of the Temple of Apollo, where the Oracle of Delphi would deliver her visionary pronouncements. Number 4, the theater. Delphi's ancient theater was the site of dramatic performances and cultural events that were integral to the sanctuary's rituals and celebrations. Number 5, the stadium. Further up the hillside, you'll find the well-preserved remains of the Delphi Stadium, where the ancient Pythian Games were held every 4 years. Second only in importance to the Olympic Games. Unfortunately, this can sometimes be closed due to the wind, which was the case on the day we visited. The Castilian Spring. This natural spring dedicated to the Muses was believed to have inspirational and purifying powers. Pilgrims would cleanse themselves in the waters before ascending to the oracle. It's located near the museum and can be easy to miss. And visiting the remarkable Delphi Archaeological Museum is also an absolute must-do. It houses an impressive collection of artifacts and treasures from Delphi. The museum's galleries are meticulously curated and showcase a diverse array of ancient Greek art, including incredible sculptures, intricate bronze statues, stunning marble reliefs, and a wealth of other archaeological finds. Another great aspect of the Delphi Museum is that it's air-conditioned. Walking through the ruins can be incredibly hot, even if you visit in the fall like I did. Also, there are quite a few friendly and adorable cats that call Delphi home, and they like to hang out near the museum entrance. This is something to keep in mind if you're allergic. Now, to walk through and admire all of these sites and the museum took us about 3 hours, and we were going at a fairly leisurely pace and taking photos. You can easily spend more time or less time depending on your interests. Now, tips for visiting Delphi. Number 1, the best time to visit Delphi. You can visit Delphi at any time of the year. However, the milder temperatures and fewer crowds of late spring, which is March through May, and autumn, September through November, offer more pleasant conditions. Summer provides warmer and drier weather, of course, but it's also absolutely crazy in terms of tourism, as is the case throughout Greece during the summer months. I personally visited Delphi during September, and there were plenty of people there, but it didn't feel too overwhelming. I can't imagine how much crazier it would be during the peak season. Number 2, wear comfortable shoes and dress comfortably. There is a lot of walking at Delphi. You're going to want to wear your most comfortable shoes for this day. Closed-toe shoes are also a good idea. And while some sites like Meteora, there is a dress code, at Delphi, there is no dress code, so feel free to wear whatever you are most comfortable in. Just keep in mind that it can be quite warm even in fall and spring, so wear breathable clothing. Number 3, bring sun protection. It can be quite sunny and hot here, so be sure to pack your sunscreen and sunglasses. Number 4, stay hydrated. Carrying a water bottle at all times is a must, as you'll want to stay hydrated while exploring Delphi. The cafe near the museum does sell water and snacks, however, there won't be anything once you're inside the ruins, so be sure to pack plenty of water. Number 5, save time for lunch or dinner in one of the traditional tavernas in the town of Delphi. I personally dined at Taverna Vakos and had a wonderful experience. Be sure to save room for some hearty food. So is Delphi worth visiting? I'm personally very glad that I visited Delphi, and I do recommend it if your schedule allows. However, I do want to mention that if I had to choose between visiting Delphi or visiting Meteora, I personally found Meteora to be more awe-inspiring than Delphi. Meteora's landscapes and monasteries are unlike anything I've ever seen, and it's one of the most incredible places I've ever visited. That said, if you're a history buff, Delphi arguably holds far more historical significance than Meteora. You will be much more impressed with Delphi. And again, it's much easier to do a day trip to Delphi from Athens than it is to visit Meteora in one day. Delphi truly transports you to a bygone era where the line between the mortal and divine was blurred and the wisdom of the gods was sought by kings and commoners alike. Whether you're a history buff, a nature lover, or simply looking for a unique cultural experience, Delphi does have something to offer everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more travel guides like this.